Now in the same question, let's try to find out when they are going to meet for the second time. So we found out that they are going to meet for the first time after 7.5 hours, right? So what has happened is, if you assume that this is A and this is the point B, right, and P has started here from A and Q has started from B, and since P's velocity is going to be down the stream, so P was actually moving at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour, right, and Q is moving with a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. This is what has happened, right? And the total distance of separation is 600 kilometers. In 7.5 hours, P and Q has met somewhere here, right? In 7.5 hours, if you see this, it would have covered 150 kilometers, right? So which means Q has covered 150 kilometers. So this entire distance is, let's say, 150 kilometers, right? And P has covered this much, so which is going to be, totally if it is 600 kilometers, so it is going to be 450 kilometers, right? So P has covered 450 kilometers to reach this point, and Q has covered 150 kilometers to reach this point, and they actually met here, right? That is it for the first time. Now if they have to meet for the second time, then what should happen is, definitely our this P will have to go to the other end and change its direction, and then it has to come back and meet Q, either when the Q is in this direction or when the Q is coming back, isn't it? Which we don't know as of now. Let's try to analyze it, right? But definitely one thing should happen. P should go to the B and it should turn around. Now we know that the speed of P is 60 kilometers per hour and the total distance is 600 kilometers. So for P to reach from A to B, it would take 10 hours, right? So total it is 600 kilometers divided by 60, which means it is going to take 10 hours. So 10 hours is the time required for P to reach till B. But then we have allowed it to travel till now for 7.5 hours, so that they met for the first time. Now if you give it 2.5 hours, definitely it is going to reach B. Now let us say after 2.5 hours, P has reached to B, right? Now the total time taken is 10 hours. In 10 hours, P has reached B and it has just changed the direction. When it is going to change the direction, now its speed is going to be, it is traveling actually up the stream. When it is traveling up the stream, if its speed is 50, you have to subtract 10. Therefore, its actual speed will now be 40 kilometers per hour. So now P has started moving at 40 kilometers per hour after 10 hours. Just remember that. Now how many more hours we let it run from the first point of meeting? 2.5 hours. Now in these 2.5 hours, what would have happened to Q? Now Q might have traveled, so with a speed of 20 kilometers per hour, if it is going to travel for let's say 2.5 hours, then it is going to travel for 50 more kilometers, right? Therefore it would have traveled a total distance of 200 kilometers, right? Now understand it. P is at B traveling at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour, and Q is at some point which is 200 kilometers away from B, and it is traveling at a speed of let's say it has since changed the direction. I mean, it is going in the same direction. It is again traveling at 20 kilometers per hour, right? So this is the scenario. Now when can they meet? They can meet either in this same direction, which means when P and Q are going in the same direction, then Q might overtake, P might overtake Q and it might meet on the way, or P will be moving in that direction. By that time Q might reach there and change its direction, and on the way it might meet. So we don't know exactly what will happen. So let's see whether Q has a capability to overtake, P has a capability to overtake Q or not. Now if you observe it, Q has to still reach 400 meters in order to reach A, right? So what will be time taken by Q in order to reach A? 400 by 20, which is 20 hours, isn't it? Therefore Q still needs 20 hours to reach A, right? Now what about P? if P has to cover these 600 meters, see this, now Q needs 20 more hours in order to reach A. Now what about P? Since P is moving at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour, it will be able to cover 600 kilometers in just 15 hours. Therefore, before Q reaches A, P can definitely reach A, isn't it? Therefore, P is going to overtake Q, and so they are definitely going to meet somewhere between these 2 points, right? So what you can understand from this analysis is both are going to meet when they are going to travel in the same direction, right? Now if you observe this, both are separated by a distance of 20 kilometers, and both are moving in the same direction, and P is moving with a velocity greater than the Q's velocity, and so you can apply the concept of relative speed here, and using that you can find out when they are going to meet, right? So we have solved such examples. So they are going to meet after 10 hours. So whatever we are talking about is this scenario, but by 10 hours P is here and Q is here. So after 10 hours when they are going to meet is, time can be derived this way: 200 kilometers is what they are separated by, and the relative velocity between these two, since they are traveling in the same direction, is 40 minus 20, which is 20 kilometers per hour. So which means 10 hours. So in 10 hours, if you let them travel from these 2 points, they are definitely going to meet. Already they have traveled for 10 hours, and therefore for the second time if they have to meet, it will happen after 20 hours starting from these 2 points. Got it? Starting from the beginning, you can say that they are going to meet after 20 hours, right? For the first time they are going to meet after 7.5 hours, and for the second time they are going to meet after 20 hours. Got it? Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177, and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.